Hi, it's Lee and welcome to the Tesla Economist. The stock price is going to soar now the new Model 3 Highland is launched. Well, at least that's what I thought might happen, or at least get a boost. But no, the stock price is actually down, and that's because of the drops in the price for the S and X, which now qualify for the tax credit, meaning they're down an additional $7,500 after these drops, which makes them exceptional value. And FSD has come down in price too. The Model 3, however, is now more expensive, which is what I suggested could happen, and likely will be more expensive in the US too. Like I was anticipating, my guess was around $45,000 for the rear-wheel drive. Whilst costs are down as well. What happens when prices rise and costs reduce? Margin increases a lot. Of course, lower interest rates would mean a further price rise and more margins too, one day to come. Obviously now, when the Model Y gets its facelift, it too will cost less to build, and the price will rise. Again, margins up for that car. We could see margins up to mid-20% without any interest rate drops for the 3 and Y. Sure, Model S and X are down a bit now, but they are becoming relatively smaller and smaller sellers as the 3 and Y continue to ramp. Anyway, the stock has not only done nothing, it is actually down a reasonable amount. This is just further evidence that the market does not react according to Tesla. I don't think this was a buy the rumour, sell the news event either, as it didn't even really run that much with the rumour. On top of that, the vehicle has over-delivered on what the rumours were, aside from the battery not being bigger, but still offering about 10% more range anyway, through other efficiencies. On top of that, it is clearly obvious that all these updates will be included in the Model Y soon too, which is going to make that vehicle so competitive. Seriously, this is a major update for a Tesla. Look how popular the new Model S and X were when they had their facelifts. Tesla increased the price a massive amount. Okay, sure, the price has just come down, but the Model S is still $75,000. The old version was $69,420, if you recall. And also, that lower price was when interest rates were lower too. So in other words, people are still paying more than $10,000 for a new Model S than the previous version if we include the higher interest rate payments. However, now it qualifies for the tax credit, demand should be really high for that car. If this is anything to go by, perhaps the Model 3 will now be a higher price for some time, and even higher when rates are lower. I'm a little worried the Model 3 Performance may be discontinued. It doesn't seem to be for sale as a Highland. There is the long-range version though, but I think if there is a Model 3 Highland Performance, it does actually sound tempting to buy. I think I might just have to upgrade because I think this new Model 3 is really nice. That refreshed design and just those few extra features, I really, really like it. And on top of that, it will probably have about 10% more range and potentially achieve 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. In fact, they may not even call it the Performance version and might call it the Plaid. And if it had air suspension too, then it would be amazing, but that's probably not likely. Anyway, the Model Y is something like the best-selling vehicle in the world, and even if the Corolla is still number one, remember the Corolla does this with a lot more versions, like hatchbacks, sedans, etc. The Model Y is just one variant, and with only 2 options available to buy. Sure, there are 3 versions, but there are no markets that sell all 3 versions. What I'm saying is that if I'm this excited about the Model 3 and willing to spend over $20,000 in order to upgrade, then imagine what effect the Model Y might have. They may even add some more extras in there too that aren't in the Model 3. The new Model Y is going to be outstanding. It will be a seriously cool car. Demand will increase and likely Tesla can raise the price by 10% for it. Although it will also mean that when Tesla can actually ramp up Berlin, Texas, then there should be enough demand now without having to reduce prices from what they are currently, given this additional 10% price increase as a buffer. And if Tesla have managed to cut costs on the Model Y too, then it should allow an even bigger buffer. But of course, there are so many costs left to cut from Berlin and Texas, given how they're only at 1/3 capacity still. As soon as they ramp up, then finally, Tesla will hit much better economies of scale from those factories, and margins will increase anyway. Of course, yes, it's the 4680 ramp we're waiting on there. A cell that, when ramped, should also save a few $1,000s on the battery of each car as well. So to clarify, for the Model Y, there is still the lower cost battery to come, and there is still the economies of scale from these new state-of-the-art facilities that we hope to see ramped one day. But 4680s are like FSD. Elon keeps saying next year they'll ramp or later this year, but it never does, and we don't even get told why. Anyway, that's hope for next year, according to Elon's latest 4680 update. I say latest, but it was actually January. Since then, we have had the Texas lines turn on, and we've had the Cyber sale too. I really want some evidence that they can ramp these sales, as I feel the EV business is too much in limbo until then, and Tesla depend on LFP sales, which is from CATL. Seeing Mexico use LFP gave me hope that Tesla can ramp another 2 million or so units a year when the factory is ramped, and if they get $10,000 net profit per vehicle, then that is massive in the financials, and that's without 4680s ramping. But we haven't seen anything really happen in that arena yet. However, if overall Tesla can gain 5% more margin on the vehicles and perhaps a slightly higher ASP next year, then that at least will be some improvement. And as far as I can tell, it's going to be the only way Tesla will increase profits next year so far. Sure, you can say energy will ramp, but where are the sales coming from? This new CATL factory doesn't appear to be doing anything yet. Perhaps the M3P sales are earmarked for the new Model Y, and perhaps that's where this new 66 kilowatt-hour battery is rumoured to go. If Tesla ended up using a 66 kilowatt-hour battery in a rear-wheel drive Model Y, and if they made similar efficiency improvements like they did with the Model 3, then the Model Y rear-wheel drive might actually be approaching a 300-mile range, which would be absolutely crazy. And the battery may only cost around $1,000 more or so, and could even be structural. But getting that much more range makes it a lot more valuable. Then the LFP cells that we use in the Model Y would go into the Megapack factories, and we could see that revenue grow there. Meanwhile, we have the Cybertruck, likely a cash furnace for the first half of next year, but eventually making some additional profit, and that by the end of the year, Tesla's financials could actually be getting pretty good. And this would be without any new factories producing any output, or without even the 4680s ramping, as Cybertruck can ramp with Panasonic's 4680 cells, which will be energy dense enough anyway. Hopefully the Cybertruck doesn't suck out too much of this additional profit and we actually get to notice it. But there is a chance we really could see some profit increases, especially if CATL's new factory starts producing cells for Tesla and we see some decent Megapack revenue. I haven't run the numbers yet, but the end of next year profits could be up about 100 to 150% from the last quarter. With Tesla currently at a P ratio of 70, and that would take Tesla's P ratio down to about 30 at today's stock price. Of course, that's just sorting out these current items, which is just what's on the cards now. In addition to that, we're talking another 16 months of all sorts of other events that should take place between now and the end of next year. The biggest event of them all should be the Gen 3 reveal, seeing what will be the biggest selling car in history. We will discover what billions of dollars and years of R&D of some of the best engineers in the world has created in a vehicle that has never had the economies of scale known to any vehicle before. Well, that's what we'll get to find out. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.